All right, my good people, I want you all to understand that what you are seeing in Richard Heart ecosystem now is just a tip of an iceberg. We haven't even started. We haven't even started. This is how quick everything will overturn. As you can see, Hex have over recovered 200%. The percentage that we lost 200 days ago, Hex recover it under 2 days. The same thing with PulseX. The same thing with almost PulseChain. And you are seeing people are now started saying, oh, it look like Provex is not going to do the number. Look at, but they are not understanding the game. What is happening in the chart ecosystem now is people who are timing the market, who knows that the bottom is in, and October 10 is going to be the starting of bull on. That is when everybody will turn bullish, because that is the 1 year bear market will end. So what is happening in the chart ecosystem is people who sold at the top are buying back now. They are accumulating back, and I was warning you about this, and you still have this opportunity on Provex. Because when the money flow, when the little money start flowing in on Provex, this is how quick everything will overturn. Under 1 week, you are not going to be you will forget that we are in bear market. So imagine for the last 200 days, in 2 days, we managed to recover what we lost in 200 days. That is how quick everything will turn. But back then, when we are telling you buy Hex, buy PulseChain, buy Provex, everybody was looking. Provex was 35. Everybody was looking. Now everything is doubled. We have recovered what we lost over 200 days ago, and now everybody is panicking. So what is happening now in the chart ecosystem is smart money who sold at the top, who sold before October 10, who sold during October 10 crash, they are buying back in their position. They know that the market is going to overturn. Yes, they are buying back in. And you still have the window opening for you. The chance is still opening for you on Provex. And you wonder why Provex is not pumping. Provex is not pumping because Provex have its own liquidity separate. Every liquidity on USDT, USDC, on DAI, on Ethereum. So it's not tied to PulseChain. It's not connected to PulseChain or PulseX. What happened to PulseChain and PulseX is when a whale buy 200,000 worth of PulseChain, it pump PulseX, pump Hex, pumps Attestation token. That's why all of them are moving up together. When it comes to PulseChain, it doesn't. That's when you see PulseChain leading to almost 15%. PulseX fall down almost 15%. PulseChain fall down to almost 10%, 9%, but Provex fall down only 2%. It doesn't follow all of them. So what am I saying? Is Provex is the main source to pump this ecosystem. When the Leo pump began, it's going to be the main. Why? Because I have explained it before. I'm not going to explain it now. It's either you want it or you don't want it. It's all yours. But I'm going to give you an example. Richard Heart will not deploy $50 million on PulseChain, and for only PulseChain to go back to sacrifice price. $50 million he deploy on PulseChain now will only put PulseChain to go back to sacrifice price, which will give him maybe 20x. And people will say, oh, we just break even. We didn't even break even. We are just here in sacrifice price. But if you deploy that amount of money on Provex, it's going to be 1,000x. Everybody will start talking about the ecosystem. You have to follow the psychology of human beings, how human beings behave. So if he deploy it on Provex, Provex will go up by 1,000x. And people will start saying, oh, the chart have pumped PulseChain to 1,000x. Look at it. Oh, before you know, it is another thing. So that is how you will calculate it based on psychology. You understand? So if you understand this market, you know that the right place you should be here is where we have enough tick liquidity on tied to USDT and USDC, so that even if you want to sell, so ask me, how many people who sold Provex? None. Nobody sold Provex. You only see $30, $20, $30. Market is doing it. So eventually, Provex is going to pump, like it's going to pump like crazy, and when it pump, it's going to go up by 1,000x. We are talking about 1,000x. I'm not talking about 500, 100s pump. No, I'm talking about 1,000s from sacrifice price. That is very possible. It's highly, highly achievable. So a lot of people are not understanding Provex because the protocol is not live yet. We remember we are tracking it. Let's track it down again. We track it down when it was only, it's still, they are still they are still in early phase. So they have not completely done with it. They are still building it. So imagine when Richard Hart announced it's live and a lot of hype start executive buy and bond to do a lot of numbers. All right. So the last time we checked it, it was $900. Now look at it. The balance fee balance is now $1,087 actually. Let's see the let's see. So the last time we checked it, it was $900. Now it was $1,800. This money is the money for buy and burn address. All right. So imagine when all this thing is activated and people started using it. The funny thing about Provex people don't understand is, in bull market, people use it because people will sell their money, get off PulseChain, release to the bank. They use Provex. In bear market, people will deploy money from bank, buy cheap PulseChain, buy cheap PulseS through Provex. All right. So this is one thing that people don't understand. So Provex is going to win. Why? Because it have a low percentage of people who are holding it. It have a low supply. It have a high liquidity tied to USDT and USDC, and Ethereum is not connected to PulseChain, PulseX. When in the terms of PulseChain and PulseX, you will know that we raised $600 and something million for this. 600 and something million. About 200,000 people are waiting to be a millionaire off PulseChain and PulseX. Is that possible? No, it's not. Unless you have $1 billion, unless Ethereum goes to $20,000, that is when everybody will be a millionaire on PulseChain and PulseX. That is the fact. Unless you buy PulseChain and PulseX doing the bottom, that's when you become a millionaire when it hits sacrifice price. That is the fact. But if you put $400 on Provex now, you can become a millionaire because it can go to a cent. That is the fact. So I said it and I'm saying it again. Provex is going to win. So what is happening in the Charter ecosystem is whales who sold earlier are buying back their bag. So this is how quick everything will overturn. This is a tip of an iceberg. You know, imagine everything we lose on Hex. Look at Hex. Hex went up 200% all the way from here. So imagine you bought this thing at doing when it went down to 0.005. How much you have doubled your money times 2, times 3. Yeah. This is how quick everything can overturn in crypto in just 2 days, and everybody will be screaming, oh, nobody is calling Hex a scam again. Everybody is screaming on top of the boy. So the whale who sold the bottom, who sold the $1.5 million at the bottom, he have lost. Yes. He have lost, unfortunately. There's no way he have lost. So when the bull market returns, you tell him go back to $6,000, everything move, and Richard had deployed $5 million, $6 million to Provex, everybody's going to be rich. So all I'm saying is get your hand on Provex, get your hand on PulseChain, get your hand on Hex, get your hand on PulseX. We will likely to going to retire. You know, this why this bull run is critical is Richard Hart cannot afford to fail in this critical bull run, and we have 2 months: August, September, October. to begin, 2 months to accumulate. You cannot afford. You know why? If Richard Hart failed this bull on, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be here anymore. Of course, I'm not gonna be talking here. I'm not gonna be following a man for 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, and he failed 2 times. It's not possible. I will move my money to another thing. So he knows this. He cannot afford to fail this one. The other one take him unaware. This one, he is going to pump it. He's going to be critical. So you learn from your lesson. You will not tell me that now you see Provex or PulseChain or go up to a sacrifice price you're not going to sell. That if you are holding to 1,000 to 100 years, that is up to you. We have learned for the last 5 years. If it goes up, I am selling, I am exiting, I am putting my money to elsewhere. This is my plan. So the same thing happened to thousands of us. People have learned from their mistakes. So you must know how to learn from your mistake and strategize yourself. And that is why you must position yourself with Provex, because this is where the liquidity is. If you look at Provex, that is where the liquidity lies. They have a thick liquidity that you can exit your bag without enough slippage. You can, this is where you make money. I tell you, this is where you will make a hell lot of money, is on Provex. People understand that. The world have. That's why you don't see anybody selling $50,000 worth of Provex, $100,000 like we see on PulseChain and PulseX, and they sell it down to zero. Why? Ask yourself. This is how many months that Provex launch. Why don't we sell it down to 99% like other things, like PulseChain and PulseX? All of them are 99% down. Nobody wants to sell. That is the trick. Nobody wants to sell. We could have seen $50,000, $100,000. Well, is it? Nobody. I am telling you this for the last time. I'm not going to give you this hint. Get ready. We have 2 months away to start calculating the beginning of the bull on. 3 years bull on began. 2 months away. Make sure you understand me. Make sure you get in now before it's too late. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.